Good morning on this Thursday, April the 11th. In New York, it's 11 a.m. And in all your locations, well, it is a few hours ahead or a few hours before that time. Anyway, I'm very happy that we are back together. As you know, I'm trying to keep this as a weekly event. And in the next few weeks, you will see also interesting guests that will join this program. But You Change the World is here with you and faithful to you, and you're faithful to us. So this is great. For the YouTube viewers and for those who would come to YouTube, let me beg you to subscribe. The subscription to YouTube gives us a lot of strength and encouragement to seek for more content, for enriching this program, for maybe, in fact, multiplying more frequency of it, and especially turning it to more into a tip magazine where you're going to find tools and resources for your leadership and for performing wherever you are in your workplace or as an entrepreneur in your own company. But as you know, this has been designed from my perspective of a certified leadership development coach and mediator. And why do I say certified? Well, I say certified not because I want to pride myself, especially on this day where I'm going to talk about humility, but it's certainly to tell you that I'm trying to cope and comply with a certain number of norms and policies, and especially best practices that we call competencies when I practice coaching because I trust them. I think they are very good and they are, in fact, keeping this profession strong and growing. This is why I am really very much including in my day to day training, certification training, additional training, and always training. And this is one of the reasons why I'm a coach today, is because I think the learning opportunity, which is a constant opportunity, is tremendous, tremendous to learn already with my clients. Each time I meet with them, each time we perform a session that's unbelievable. And every day is an incredible day, thanks to you guys, when you are my clients and you have selected me as your coach, just to live this part of your life together with you and being a support to you is tremendously inspiring. So I want to thank you and express this gratitude in front of everybody for those who watch today. The other thing I want to do practically is to invite you to go to our website, www.coachingpath.com, PATH, or andrepulitzer.com. And there's a third URL I recommend you to watch, to go see and visit for a few minutes. And it's called the spotlightmindset.com, spotlightmindset.com. Have a look. I leave you with a surprise. It has a very strong and specific angle to the coaching that I perform every day, and especially something that I'm passionate about. It's a method, the Spotlight method, that I really encourage you to have a look to and introduce yourself to and see how you feel about it. And get back to me, please. You always can communicate with me while I'm streaming right now on LinkedIn by by going on LinkedIn or and making your comments over there or asking you questions, or wherever you see a possibility to send a message. Everybody will see it on the right side of myself, right side of that screen. And as you could see, I changed also the direction of my microphone. I think it's much better on my right side than it is on my left side. So we think about all those details. Today, I'm going to speak about something that I think is very dear to me. In fact, each time I speak about something, it is something I think profoundly about and reflects also some of the topics that we are talking about every single day. This one is not a topic we talk about at all, but it is a topic that should be, in fact, in everybody's mind. When you are leading anything, a family, a group of people, a camp during your vacation time, leadership, leadership in general, when you are given the mission to lead, what does it call for above everything else? And this is really the theme of today, because it's something that nobody think about very much. And it's humility, humility. Can you imagine a leader that is humble? Very difficult to fathom when you look around you. especially in the political scene, because leaders think they are leaders in the political scene. It can be a president of a country, it can be a secretary general, it could be anything, a minister, it can be a prime minister. All these people have been given a responsibility by a government, elected by their people, hopefully, this is not always the case. And they are leading, they're leading. And that leadership that they own, thing that they own, is sometimes extremely far from the mission that they should be playing. And I think the lessons that we learn from this, believe it or not, I'm not always here to preach anything or to invite people to look at the Bible. But the truth is, here you're going to find a lot of personalities, a lot of characters in the Old Testament, right? The Bible, the real authentic, genuine Bible, that is so old, right? More than 3,000 years old, coming from the Torah that was given on the Mount Sinai. This is where you can find a lot of resources that you can really rely on. They are true. Truth is right there. You can find it, and undoubtedly true. There is all these stories about those kings that were very humble kings. And I just think, of course, of the embodiment of all the kings, who was Moses, and after him, David, right? King David. So Moses, King David, they were kings. They were elected kings. Elected by who? Elected by God directly, but also very loved by their people. And they were example and role models, but to the embodiment of more than a role model, really the benchmark of humility. Humility to the extreme humility. They knew that they were given a mission, something they were playing to carry on with their people and fight their battles and all the different things and challenges they went through. And they suffered a lot. They went through a lot of suffering, a lot of pain, emotionally, physically, all those different things with wars that goes along with it. And they brought a lot of peace also to this world. But they were spiritual. They knew that they were not, in fact, controlling the world. They just had a mission to play. Now, those, of course, had faith in God. So I'm not saying that everybody has the faith in God, but they can have faith in something, if not even themselves. Doesn't mean that for the same sake of having faith in yourself, that you have to be, pompous about it. And pretension is a killer in leadership. And unfortunately, we see this every day. Because when decisions are made because someone's ego, that decision is usually wrong. And we have seen this all along and along in the history of not mankind, but the history of corporate America, corporate world. The decisions made from ego are bad decisions. It's always the same. It has been proven all over and over and over again. So I'm very proud in a way to bring this topic here in You Change the World, because you change the world when you lead a team of people and you take this angle of understanding that you are in fact playing a role, and that's a mission that has been given to you. Okay, you might be paid a little bit more for being a manager, a senior manager, a director, or a vice president, a senior vice president, an executive vice president, a C something. But truth be told, if you have power, even when you're a board member, that doesn't mean for the sake of power that it is because of your how can I say? Because you are entitled to this power. You're entitled only to play a mission, to have a role to play, to, for example, to contribute to growth, or to give a lead to the company or a council about the direction of the company strategically, because of for your experience. First, because of your experience, and even before that, beyond the experience, why you've been given this mission is because of who you are. If you are really seen for who you are, and you've been really invited to join a team in a leadership role, that's usually the most natural way. You get this offer on the table from someone who knows you or a group of people who want you on board. For whatever reason, you have proven something. They are really willing to have you join because they think that by your additional input and influence, you are going to be an asset to the company or to the brand or to the organization, your vision, your faith in something, whatever you accomplished in your career, or for whatever reason justifies that choice to choose you, to elect you, or to bring you on board. All of this, you should really take it very humbly, is coming to you, even when you find it. You've been selected, you've been accepted through a whole series of interviews and seeing all the different stakeholders. All of this because of what? Because of a mission that is given to you to play. One mission that you need to play. I say playing the mission, right? I don't even know if it's said, you can say this in English. I always have the excuse to be French and make some mistakes in the language of that I speak right now. But I'm not saying too much about the grammatical, accuracy of what I'm saying right now. It's the sense I want to give to what I say. Playing your mission, right? Playing it because you play a role. That's much more accurate to say. The role you play in the leadership position that you have is key, really, is key to what you should think about, and that what you should really, in fact, focus on. And then after that, anything else, right? External influences, as you could call. You have to take your good judgment to see if it's in line with the mission you've been given to play. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, when you take all of this from this angle, really, I think there is absolutely nothing to fear about not being humble, because you take it as someone who is the right person for the role, right? And you play that role all the time as who you are authentically. Of course, you take some precautions because you want to be successful, or you want that role to be also complementary to other roles in the team of leadership that you belong to. If it's a board of directors, or if it's just a suite of people that are your peers, or if it is at a lower level, your leadership level with your peers, with your boss above you, and people that report to you, and all the team that depend on your decisions, you need to always make that big calculation and have the awareness of all the consequences of your decisions. And from humility, that's going to make you extremely wise and reliable, trustworthy. If you would take decisions from your ego and gain that reputation of always doing that way, leading from ego, from being pleased with yourself, and from being very putting yourself, in fact, at the center, and trying to get attention, recognition, celebrity, and fame, all of those different things can be extremely dangerous. When you are sincerely at your position of leader, to just for the purpose and for the mission that you have to really own, it's an ownership. That's your responsibility. That's your accountability. And everybody under you and around you follow you, and you are just getting them along on board with this mission and this objective and the purpose that you have. This is really what the leader is about. Now, why do I bring the humility point again? Because I think that's what we're not realizing, how much it is key for a leader to understand that it is, in fact, the key quality, the real skill of all the skills, is to really be very humble from the beginning to the end of the mission. So I think definition of humility in leadership, it's that you can really have to look at the leadership in the context of building trust, of really nurturing collaboration, inspiring people to collaborate with you and collaborate between themselves, and to promote a positive work culture. Right, promoting a positive work culture, and above work itself, the culture of your company. You can inherit from the founders of the company this role. One generation or 10 later, you still carry on the brand and the culture of the company. That's what I, in fact, always call a very strong culture. But I don't want to focus on something else. I'm just now today focusing on this humility that a leader should really own and feel from bottom to head, from head to toe, that inside and outside that person, it's a sincere, genuine humility. That person is totally aware that it's a mission that that person has to play. When it is this way, the opposite of arrogance, of audacity, to be confrontational, and sometimes to look at people from so high. I saw a picture today of someone. It was, in fact, a small clip that came to my uh, to my videos on the phone, YouTube, and I just looked at that. I don't know why it came to me, but it was a picture of. It was, in fact, let me tell you, it was Donald Trump on a ring, a boxing ring. I don't know how many years ago, facing really very arrogant guy, really yelling at him. I think he was about to, in fact, punch him. And then it ends up into a fight where you see the president, I mean, the former president of the United States, who was not the president at the time, but he was a billionaire with a lot of prestige, on the floor, not punching down someone. And you see this old blonde hair or red hair, or this very bright color hair. That's all you see above the body of the other person. I don't want to say anything against anyone. I'm not political, you know that, and it's really true. I'm not. I'm not right. I'm not left. I'm not impressed by anything that has to do with politics, especially in this country these days. So this is a statement I make publicly. I am not interested at all in politics. But when you see this kind of ego, and so you saw at one point when the guy was yelling at him, and Trump was looking at him really with the eyes like this, down to him, with a face like this. It was not humble. The face, the physical aspect was terribly arrogant. And I don't know if he's an arrogant person or he's definitely a strong character, and everybody, and he can be hated passionately, like can be loved passionately. So this is someone who really brings extreme feelings. Let's put it this way. He inspires extreme feelings because he's an extremely strong character. And I do not think it's the wrong thing. It just have to be channeled the right way. He definitely has leadership in his behavior all the time. But is he humble? I don't think so. But do you see any humble politician here around you in this country or anywhere else? I don't think there is any humble leader when it's in the political scene. And this is, in fact, extremely dangerous and a shame, because they are influenced by their own ego all the time. So that means that most of the time they're not making the right decisions. But hopefully they're not alone. They have a government. They have other people to advise them. And it's something sometimes they can't control, because the human trend, really humanity, the way a human being is built, is that ego is a natural thing. He needs, or she needs, recognition and fame and promotion and publication, and to publicize something that this person did when it's a good thing, or thinks that it's a good thing. So how can you build trust when you are so egocentrical? I don't know. But there will be always different camps, those who are going to follow you and those who are going to be very against you. So just this image, I just remembered now, because it was, in fact, this morning when I saw it, and I said, wow, maybe that was also the reason why when I see this kind of thing, I say, oh, one day I'm going to do something about leadership and humility. Because really, I think of King David, I think of King Solomon, and I think of Moses and all these different incredible, charismatic leaders who were so meaningful and changed the world literally, and the humanity literally. But they were missionaries. They had a mission to play, and they knew it from, again, entirely, and had also their downfalls too. They really made their mistakes, and when they got disconnected from this idea of being humble, that's where they were trapped and made the wrong decisions. Even the best of all and the biggest of all, the highest and greatest of all, they still made mistakes, because we're human beings. Now, another point I want to also mention about leadership and humility is the point of leading by example. You know that this is something that I coach people a lot about, because this is something that really people love to see from their leaders. When they are, pulling up their sleeves, sit side by side with someone, and really be a coach and go through something that is challenging for someone that they lead, or a team member. And they really sit side by side, and they really, really explain, and they put themselves at the same level. It is not a question of leading or pushing an authority down to this person. It's to guide that person. It's to inspire that person and give the person's confidence that that person can do it well. And that kind of work, some people stay in their office, in their, I call it, their control tower, like a control tower in an airport, and they don't leave their office, and they think they can manage all these people, especially since many leaders are working also from home and it's virtual. They have not much hands-on to do what I just said, and take a flight and go physically next to this person who needs help, or open the door to someone who wants to speak to them. Really, I said that a few times. We have only a few minutes left. But this image, I instead of telling you a story, I would like to share this image. I said that a few times here on this broadcast. And it is something that is very dear to my heart because I want to stick to it myself and focus on it very often. If someone comes to you to ask something or to tell you something, let's say you stand at a cocktail party, right, or at a conference somewhere, and you have a drink, and you are alone there against the wall, watching around, and someone is walking to your direction, and this person now is going to proactively come to you and speak to you. How do you see this dynamic of someone coming to you? How do you see something comparable to that when they knock on your door? How do you see someone who comes to you to ask you something, right? To tell you something, and you're busy, your mind is busy, or you're in the middle of something else, and that person is really in need to communicate with you. So I don't know if you should drop everything and open your door and say, I'm all here for you. But for sure, whatever you do in this moment, inviting that person and showing that you're welcoming that person to talk and to be received in your space. Because, we all have our little space, our radius, where when this person comes close and wants to physically come to you and speak to you, you open it completely out wide. And this is not only with a smile, with warmth, with humanity, but it is that, right now I'm on the phone, but please stay here. I'll be back to you in 3 minutes. I want to speak to you. I want to hear you. And you give your undivided time to this person. And that's greatness. That's real greatness. You're a leader. You're someone who, and I think it's the best example I can give. Leading by example, to show that you always have this open door policy, which I always laugh when people call it by that name, because they usually do not practice it the way they say. You need to say and do what you say, right? And opening that space to people, it's a behavior. It's part of you. It shows, and it's very authentic. So if it's not sincere, it will be felt that way. At least I would feel it that way. I'm a very sensitive, captivating, um, all the vibes that I can get to see if you're sincere or not. This is something that is with me. I always have been very intuitive about this. If someone is not sincere, I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to feel, well, I will not trust that person. But I will trust you if I really feel that you're embracing this moment that I'm asking that we have together for just a little while. Well, I have to share something or to ask something, and you are completely with me, undivided attention, fully focused, fully present. Think about that. Isn't that a sign, a very concrete example of what humility is about? I cancel everything. I cancel even myself. I open myself up. That person wants to talk to me. That person needs something from me, the leader, right? Isn't that leadership? Isn't that something that, in fact, you don't have to make any comment, any introduction? Just have to be yourself because you're an open-minded person, because your open door is really open. And even if you're busy in this moment, that person knows that you will give that person the attention that this person needs. That's your very big sign of humility. It's a huge benefit for people who work with you. It's a huge benefit for yourself. And this is something that nobody else but you can generate and practice all the time. Because if it is what you want to do, but you're not yet able to do, I would work with you as a coach to make sure that you unleash this particular talent of yours, this skill of yours, this attribute of yours, that you're a generous person, that you have to give something, and that you've been designated as the leader to just do that, exactly that, to be really at the disposal of the people that work in the company and that needs this leadership from you. Whatever this leadership is about, right? There is your experience, there is your charisma, your presence, your influence, your point of view, your vision, your knowledge of the market, of the industry. And if it's a non-for-profit, your knowledge of all the different donors there is for this cause, whatever it is, if it's about fundraising, all the different topics that can come along and people want to talk to you for, you're the leader. You're ready to give. You're ready to embrace this person's request. And that's what makes you a leader. And that's what makes you a very humble leader. I would like to give you two resources to think about this, and maybe you can read them because they're very good about it. One is Leaders Eat Last, which Simon Sinek, I don't give a lot of references with Simon, because I think it's not for everybody, but this is a good one to read. And the other one is from Brené Brown. So that's another famous coach and speaker, which is called Dare to Lead. And maybe that's the one I would go over the other one if you have only time for one. Dare to Lead by Brené Brown, or Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. Those are two resources I really invite you to see that illustrate a little bit what I say. Now, if again you have anything to share with me, ask me, I'm always here for you. Please reach me on the website, andrepolitzer.com, or on LinkedIn. And you'll see in my profile, of course, we can always get a message from you, and I will be responding to you very quickly. I will see you next week. Thank you for being here, and hopefully these different words and examples are going to give you some ideas to think about, provocative ideas, and reflect upon them. Thank you. Take care. Bye.